You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Opposite Worlds After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Opposite Worlds After Show.
It's more than fitting. We've got the best of both worlds right here in the AfterBuzz TV studio. I'm your host, James Wallington, and if you're tuning in, you're watching the Opposite Worlds After Show here at AfterBuzzTV.com. And with me tonight, popping his cherry here at AfterBuzz, is the wonderful
Mikey Benzaia. I am from USA Summer Camp, and Jay, I think you did a little spot on a show called Capture.
Yeah, so I have kind of a relationship with Luke already, so watching this show has been pretty exciting for me, to say the least.
Luke is the man.
He is the man, and he is so passionate about hosting, which makes me even more excited to watch him.
And his accent is kick-ass.
Oh, yeah.
His
it's on point.
Cool,
so there's a lot to cover because obviously 2 episodes in 1 week, and it's a live show, and this is only going to be going on for 6 weeks. There's 12 episodes, 6 weeks.
Oh, I didn't know it was 6 weeks. I thought it was going to be a little longer.
So we're going to have 6 awesome after shows for you. Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So let's just dive right in and just do an overview of the show. First off, what do you think of the show overall?
I mean, coming from our backgrounds with the reality competition series, this is on another level. I don't think people are ready for this. This is great. And the point that everything is live is so crazy, and that there's a social media aspect. I'm so excited. You saw me sitting there. I had to go pee, and I wouldn't go pee during the episode. I was like, I'm waiting.
I couldn't agree more with you. I agree. The social media component to the show brings it to a whole nother level. But we've kind of seen it done on, you know, ABC's Glass House. And so I feel like this show is if Survivor and Big Brother and ABC's Glass House had a love child with a mix of the Hunger Games a little bit, it would be Opposite Worlds. So this show is pretty spectacular. You know, they're constantly under video surveillance, which is awesome. And they're divided. This house is divided with a glass wall with the past and the future. And the team names are Kronos and Epoch. So what do you think of the cast? Like, from first impressions, like, who do you like? Who do you not like?
Well, so, like, this is what's, you know, coming from. This is Kronos, which is the future, as we can see in my shirt.
Oh, yeah, we should discuss our shirts really quick.
Otherwise, it's creepy.
This. Yeah.
Mine, I tried to find a shirt that fit, but it's a baby tee, but it makes me look bigger, so I like it. But you're going with the old school throwback.
And for those of you who are listening and can't see us, I'm wearing a brown shirt with like some birds and some branches and some pine cones just to show my support for the past, the Epoch team. And then Mikey B is wearing the white shirt, sporting the white futuristic robot shirt.
I do have underwear just like that on, so it kind of goes
balances out.
So I got both scenes for you. But yeah, I think that, you know, when we first met the cast, I just, for some reason, the future team I just drew to. I don't know if it was Frank's thick New York accent, made me feel like I was back home in New York, or Rachel's cool hair and that she's a gamer. But that was the team that I originally, you know, was going for. But did you have one team or other that you were kind of set on right off the bat?
Immediately, it was obviously the past. I'm totally team Epoch. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Epoch. Earlier in this week, I was on the podcast Reality Recaps, Reality Recaps, and we did a pre-cast assessment. So we went through all 14 contestants, and I think there's 14, right? No, there's 12. There's 12.
Is it 12?
The other 2 haven't entered the house yet.
No, which, that's a whole nother
element. So we discussed the cast, and I was really surprised to see my opinions of certain people just by reading their bio on the SyFy website completely.
Oh, so you did your homework before.
Oh, yeah.
So you like scouted them out and had an original. See, I was just like virgin eyes, right? As soon as I saw them, I just went with what I saw. But wow, so you got some homework done.
It's funny what you read though can give you one opinion, but the moment you see them and how they behave, it completely is like a 180 of what you originally thought.
Well, that's like when I first met you. Like when I read about you, I was like, he's great, and then I met you, and I was like,
oh
yeah.
Thanks, Mikey B. I thought the same thing with you in summer camp.
So did a lot of people.
So yeah, so you're no secret. You're a team of you're Team Future. I'm Team Past. It's getting crazy
Yes.
because things heated up between these two rivalries in the first Worldly Challenge. Like they're just kind of thrusted in here and had to go back to bat. Like, what did you think of the first Worldly Challenge?
You know, it's funny because the way that they set it up, it was almost like they wanted you, like I think before we even get to that, they wanted you to kind of feel, like we were discussing before, that almost like there's an underdog in this situation. Like we were saying, like with your team, they didn't get to eat, they don't get to do half the stuff that the future team gets. So it's almost like they make people want to, you know, lean towards
Root
one
for the
side or the other.
past.
So I don't know if you feel the same way, but
Well, yeah, before we even get to the Worldly Challenge, I'm
Yeah.
just so excited about this
I know,
show
you
that
were-
my mind is
It's
like all over the place. Let's talk about how, one of the main questions I even have is how did they even determine
yes,
how they were going to divide the teams? Because as an audience viewer, I feel like you're more at an advantage being in the future from the get-go. You're getting better food, you're getting better sleep, you're getting better
You
accommodations.
have Athena, who is the
Yeah.
voice that gives you whatever you want.
Who, as quote-unquote, aims
Yes.
to please.
I would love an Athena. Athena aims to please, and she does. But that's the thing too. Like, why was Frank on this side, and why Rachel's on this side? Who decided that? And that's the only thing that I was a little confused on, because did they try to even the teams out? Because, like bigger strength on this side, and maybe someone's more, intelligent in regards to gaming on the other side of social media aspects. So I don't know what went into it, but we were kind of just like, this is the way it goes, and that's it, and we had to go with
Like,
it.
you might look better in a loincloth. You're going to look good in
Well,
all
did you see what they were wearing? Like, maybe
Oh.
someone's like against, maybe there's PETA, and they don't want to wear fur.
Interesting. I think since the social media component is a huge part of this show, it would have been interesting to broadcast like all their casting tapes like they did on the
Yes, yeah.
website, and then have us vote who we thought should be in the future and who we thought should be in the past.
Yeah, I agree.
That way we're still engaged in the show before it even begins. Because I want to know why they're in the future and why they're in the past.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah.
There should be something that goes on.
But they move in. I loved how the intro with them in their little underwear, and they're like standing in the spotlights for dramatic effect.
And as they walk through the glass, like all of a sudden they're
Split
dressed like P. Diddy's white party, and then I don't know, you guys are just, it's like, I don't know where they were going, but it was like,
A little cheesy.
it was a little creepy at the same time, though. But I don't know if I was the only one that was creeped out by those bodysuits, but I mean,
So
I'll
if you
rock
were on Team Kronos and you were walking into the future, this futuristic home with all these tablets, everything's white,
I would
and as Jeffrey
ruin something.
described, I don't want to get this place dirty.
Yeah.
What would have been your first initial reaction walking into the future?
my first any reaction walking into anywhere is to check out the kitchen and see what food they have. So that would have been my initial reaction. I don't know if it has anything to do with white walls. I've been there once. It wasn't a good time. But yeah, I don't know what my initial reaction would be to that. I would just feel like was it Jeff Fry, first of all.
Fry.
I'm not going to call you Jeffrey. Your name
No.
is Jeff Fry. You don't have it. It's not spelled correctly.
You don't have the E. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
It's Jeffrey,
But it's Jeff Fry.
but you spell it Jeffrey. So
I don't know. Well, we won't even get into it. Are you a fan of Jeffrey?
No,
Fry? Yeah.
that's a whole different story.
I won't bring that up.
I want to ask you guys about that though. You
Yeah.
just said the first thing you go to is the fridge, right?
Yeah, of course.
But what did they get? I didn't get to see the episode, but what did
Yeah.
they get to eat? Like good food?
They
Oh,
had really
great.
good food.
So my question is, why didn't they make it really futuristic? Why didn't they have the future team get like supplements and pills and like astronaut food, and then the past have to
Good
deal
point.
with the old diet thing?
Or like the vending machines you see in Japan.
Yeah, like that would have been a lot
That would've
more.
been- that's actually
kind of equal it out instead of giving really good food and then not as good
'Cause
food.
we were-
then they'd have to be
yeah.
food they're not used to, and then they also have food they're not used to.
they
That is
kind
a
of
good
just
point.
they got average. So they really weren't futuristic. They were like just today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really get like the above and beyond. I would actually write a strong worded letter as soon as I
Like,
got in
let's
that
change
house.
it up, yeah.
Yeah, and be like, I want some astronaut style gravity Sandra Bullock snacks in my refrigerator.
Like space food.
Space food. Remember Space Farms? Oh no, that was a New York thing. Did you ever go to Space Farms? No,
No.
no one. Okay, Frank would know. Frank, call us up.
And then we have, also to go with the people comparing it, like Jesse said, it's like Tron meets Miami, whatever the hell
What
that
is
means.
Tron? I know. Listen, I don't want to come
Tron's
off
great.
dumb, but what is Tron?
It's that Disney movie about they're in a video game.
Are they- Last one I saw was The Lion King, so I'm probably out of this.
It's a 1980s science
19.
fiction movie
Okay.
that was
Oh,
remade
So
recently.
that parallel that
Yes.
Jesse made would be pretty
Okay.
accurate. But Miami, I still don't
Is
understand.
Jesse the one from?
Jesse is
I'm a fan of
AfterBuzz.
Jesse. I mean, even though, we'll get to, he, kind of threw someone off the ledge and everything.
their leg.
I don't know. What are you going to do?
So they have great bathroom situation.
Yes.
They have like a shower with adjustable temperatures.
The toilet.
Their
Did you see
toilet,
the
it
toilet?
like raises. I'm sure it has heated seats.
Yes. That's a great thing in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so I love the future house. Like
Yes.
it's definitely comfortable and it's something that you
But
don't
then
ever
you
want to
have
leave.
the opposite side with the team that you like.
The past.
Yeah, the past. How's
yes.
their toilet situation? James?
Well, as Wyatt said, put it best. I'm thinking it's the Flintstones on crack. It's terrible.
The Flintstones on crack.
I think the only thing that would be terrible about that situation is I hate being cold,
Oh,
so that
God.
would suck. And the bathroom situation is literally just a hole in the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be into that.
No.
That's not my thing.
So the past is they're pretty stripped of everything wonderful.
But I don't know if it was JR that said it, but they did say that when you are stripped of everything, as we know, you kind of get to know your teammates better. So do you think they have an advantage because they don't have the perks that the future team has?
I do, and I know I quoted Charles somewhere, and that I'm sure we'll get to when we get to that point in the notes. But I definitely do think that is one of the advantages of being in the past is that you're forced to really have a camaraderie with your teammates because you have to make kind of a civilization to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You're all in the situation together, so why not work together?
That's true. I agree.
But the temperature's awful. The clothing situation's really ridiculous. They get
wait.
carrots
It's not ridiculous. I mean,
it's
let's
fine.
be honest. Danielle looks pretty good in that like fur ensemble.
Wait, there's 3 blondes.
All right.
Danielle's on your team.
No, then wait. So okay, let's get this situation because if
There's so
I'm
many
confused, then some people out there are probably also confused. We have Rachel's the redhead. She's the
Yes.
gamer on my team,
Yes.
Future, which I'm making my team, and then Danielle is the other girl on my team.
Yes, and Danielle's the blonde.
So who's the girl on your team that's the brown dark hair?
The brown dark hair, so there's 2. You have Angela. who's
Angela's the one I like.
Mhm,
She's
Angela's
hot.
great. And then
Yeah.
we also have Sam.
Sam
And
and
the other blonde is Lauren, and she's the skydiver. She's been skydiving 5 times.
yeah. She's like jumping
broken
out of
finger.
planes.
I mean,
So
I'm
you're a Lauren
representing.
fan,
Well,
obviously.
yeah. I mean,
Or
it's
you
funny
just
how
wait.
we both have finger problems right now. So
But yeah, okay. So now I got it. So we got the 3 over there, and then we got the 2 on my side.
yes.
Yeah.
So another interesting element is you have the past, you have the future, you have the pros and cons to both. And then Luke kind of introduces the element of the present, which is hilarious.
Yes.
And that's where they all kind of come out to the common grounds outside of the house and they meet Luke, the wonderful host.
He is pretty awesome. I got to
Love
say,
Luke.
just before we move on, Luke, I mean, he was the host of Capture also.
He was.
The guy is fun. Like, he genuinely is enjoying his job. He's a good host.
Yeah, and especially for live hosting.
Yes,
Like
he was-
what we do. I have to respect him.
Yeah, he was very on the ball. Yeah, we can learn a lot from that guy.
A lot.
That's it.
Hopefully we can get him into our
That's
studio
it.
or call in at some point. So he announces the teams, yada, yada, yada. You hear people, bitch and moan about, being on one side or the other. And what I really like, this is when I start to really like Angela, is when she's asked like what redeeming qualities there are to being in the past, she was very positive. And I think if you're in that kind of situation, positivity will take you a far way.
Yeah, it does. It brings you far in life. So I'll give her credit for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of an overview of the first,
So we
like,
got our.
what the show is about.
Yes.
We got the cast. We got the split,
Let's get to the good stuff.
Let's get to this worldly challenge with the
Yes.
tasers.
So now, what
the
are these
taser
worldly?
pull.
These worldly challenges are going to go on every episode.
Yes.
Before our eliminations.
Yes. So the worldly challenge, as we all know, is where the teams come together in the present and they compete in a challenge to determine which area the teams will stay. So if the winning team is given the winning team is given the option to either continue to live in whatever place they are or switch sides.
Okay.
So they can choose between the two, the future or the past, which is a pretty good perk.
Yeah.
So it gives you that little extra edge to really fight hard in these worldly challenges. So they had their first one, and it was pretty badass when Luke's like, so you're going to be like battling up on this podium, and then he pulls out this pole, and he's like, but these have tasers.
Yes.
And it's like zoom, and like all you see.
That's
like,
when I got my attention. I was like, all right. And isn't it kind of remind you of Ultimate Gladiators?
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
Ultimate Gladiators? Am I dating myself? Or that was on TV?
No,
Oh, okay.
I totally know what you're talking about.
It's
yeah.
very Ultimate Gladiators. I like it. And like you said, the Hunger Games, it's kind of,
Battling it out.
Yeah. So we had up first. Who was up first? We had
In the
Lisette.
challenge, yeah, Lizette
Versus
who's
Sam.
a beast versus Sam.
Whoa. Lisette, let's not call her a beast. She is just there to win.
I mean that in the
She's
most
my girl.
endearing way possible.
Yeah, because I will bring Lisette up in here, and then you won't know. We had Lisette versus Sam, and Lisette took
wins.
it.
Yes.
Yep.
And then you have the big controversy.
Yes.
It's Charles versus Jesse.
Yes.
And Jesse has this strategy where he thinks he's going to just go headstrong and just charge Charles and knock him off.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant strategy, but it was not executed properly, as we all witnessed. Poor Charles.
Yeah, Charles kind of fell to the floor.
Yeah, took a tumble.
Took a little bit of a
Charles took
tumble. Yeah, it cost him $100,000. He has Jesse to thank. But you know what? You know, there's a lot of things that were said, and but it's a game. And when you're up on a podium, I don't really think Jesse did anything maliciously.
No. I completely agree, and he explained himself pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think when you're in that kind of challenge, like battle kind of environment, you're going to be impulsive.
It's
and you're
flight
not
or
gonna
fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fight or flight. That's a good way of putting it. And unfortunately, Charles had to pay the price for that.
Listen, not everyone's going to win this game, so
No.
that's what goes on.
So that's one less person they have to worry about in the long run. So Charles and Jesse got, fouled for that because he wasn't in the line and took out Charles. So they lost a point, essentially. Then it was Rachel versus Angela. Then it was Frank versus Wyatt.
Wyatt. Can we talk about Wyatt for a minute?
Yeah, let's talk about Wyatt.
All right, so Wyatt apparently like resuscitates people. He saves people on the spot. He's like some kind of like god. I don't know if I'm a fan of him yet. I understand he seems like a really good guy, but sometimes he says things that I'm just like a little confused by. And there was a little situation that later on in the show he was going back and forth with Jesse, and I just feel like some of his comments he could just write on paper and throw them away. They're really not necessary. But
I agree. And before the game even started, I liked him. Like, he had a solid casting reel. Like, his tape on the website was
Nice
great.
guy.
You can't help but like him. And
climbs buildings. He's like, he's very
tough.
outdoorsy. Yeah, he's definitely fit for the show. But he's adding a little element of drama that, I mean, I guess all shows need.
Yeah. And you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it.
Yeah, Jeff Fry.
Jeff Fry.
Someone needs to fix his name.
Oh, boy. So, because of Charles and Jesse's battle, they ended up making the playing field pretty even.
Yes.
So, they had to do a tiebreaker, which ultimately they threw Sam back in and threw Lisette back in.
Which I love.
And Lisette won.
Of course.
Took Sam out.
Yep.
But they had a pretty good wrestling match going on, but it got a little bit more physical than the taser part. So Luke had to say, foul, like, let's reset.
Yeah, it was going on for like a good 2 minutes, and I was like, is this how it's supposed to go?
There was some kicking involved. I mean, it
Lisette,
got a little intense.
Yeah, so they brought him up, they got him a rematch, and Lisette took it.
She took it. And then in that moment, Luke announced, hey, you won. Which side would you like to like to go? And she's like, we're going to stay on the future side, which I don't blame her. I feel like if you already are given that kind of luxury, why not keep it?
I wouldn't lose it.
Yeah.
So smart decision on Lisette's part.
Exactly. And then the other element, there's so many elements and layers to this show.
Gets so excited to love.
Is the present again.
Yes.
The teams come out and Luke announces that they have 1 minute to decide who's going to be the protected. And the protected is one person from that team.
Yes.
That is obviously safe, but they are then put out to the public, us. And in this case, it was JR from the past and Lisette from the future. And we got to have a hand in deciding who the decider was.
Is this not the best aspect of this game?
We have control.
Yes. No, I think this is great. I think this is so intelligent on their part. And I think this is what sets this show, this competition reality show, against any other one. This is great.
Now, do you think they picked the right people to be the decider for their team?
I think that they definitely picked the right. I mean, JR, he's the only one on your team that I'm calling it your team, like it's your team. The only one on your team that I really do feel like is a good competitor and truly will play a fair game. But I think Lisette is just, like you said, she's just a she-wolf. She's not messing around. So
yeah, and I think they did a good job because she really held her own. She won
two
battles.
She's smart, too. She's intelligent, but so is JR, though. So I think they made the right decision.
Just likable.
He is likable.
They really were like, JR's a great guy.
Easygoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he, knows what he's doing.
So we have our deciders. We have Lisette and JR. And that brings us to tonight's episode.
Yes.
But before we even dive into tonight's episode, I just want to say, if you're liking our after show and you really enjoy Mikey and I, then go to iTunes, rate, comment, and subscribe. Give us 5 stars.
The odd couple.
Yeah, the odd couple here. I'm the past, he's the future. If you like our show, make sure you just rate, comment,
James
subscribe.
is professional. I'm out of control. He says the right things. I don't know what I'm saying.
So tell all your friends so they can bask in this glory that is Mikey B and James.
Yes, because we will bring different shirts every week.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna just paint a shirt on next week and go shirtless. Is that creepy?
Maybe,
that's
maybe
a
I
little
should just
creepy.
wear a loincloth and some fur.
We're doing it.
So
Doing it
stay
next week.
tuned. You know, maybe we should give them an option to vote for
Yeah.
things for us to do.
Okay, so what are we wearing next week? Yeah, I'm getting one of
Comment
those white
below.
bodysuits.
What should we wear next week? Maybe we will or will not do it.
No, we will. We will. Whatever it is, it will happen.
We want you to decide. We're gonna make this.
So
we're gonna make this
scared.
an engaging after show too.
Yes,
So
I'm
this
down.
makes you guys need to tweet us. What's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter is Mikey Mikey Benzaia Benzaia.
And I'm at James Wallington. So rate, comment, subscribe. Hit us up on social media and iTunes. Awesome.
Woo!
Now it's time to dive in to
I'm
tonight's
excited.
live episode.
Yes, live.
Yes.
Live.
And we have JR and Lisette. Obviously, we know that they're the deciders. So, this is when we finally start to see a little bit of strategy being incorporated into
Ooh,
this
I like
competition.
this. This is where
Things
I really
got a
enjoy
little
it.
interesting.
Yes.
So, obviously, teams come back into their respective past or future, and they have to discuss, like, about who got to be the decider.
Yeah.
And now that they know what being the protected is really all about, you kind of hear what's going on in their minds
Yeah.
about what they should do if they have to nominate people. What did you think of everyone's mentality with this whole thing?
Should we? I don't want to jump too far ahead to to Jeff Fry and his situation later on, but I think that they, I am all for my future team. I wish I would have seen a little more thought process on my end. I think you guys, really knew what you were doing when it comes to strategy. I think my team was basically just trying to, weed out strong versus weak. I don't think there was much into it.
Well,
on
you
that
even
end.
brought up a good point in when we were watching the show together, that Jesse seems to really be the most methodical person with this way of thinking as far as
It
we
must
need
have
to
been all
get
the time he
winners.
spent in the wild that
Yeah, Love in the Wild.
if anyone recognizes him. No, but I have to give credit to Jesse. I think that he is, pretty intelligent. I think he knows what he's doing. I think when it comes to strategy. I mean, not that he's been on another show. I think that he just went into this knowing what he's doing. And I don't see much from Frank.
No,
on my
just
end.
muscle. He's all brawn.
Yeah,
at
I
this
feel terrible
point.
saying that because, I like Frank. He's from New York, tough guy, but I don't know how he even fits in the house. Like, he's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, and the white makes you look bigger. It looks like a giant house. Don't bring him in here. 'Cause that wouldn't be good.
Oh my gosh. So what I thought was interesting is, like, we saw Jeffrey. Jeffrey has a
Fry.
little his Jeff Fry. Yeah, Jeff Fry's
Jeff
strategy
Fry.
is ass kissing.
Lisette was
like
speaking.
Yeah. He's like
Whatever you
He's
say.
like,
Lisette.
Lisette's amazing, blah, 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 blah. She earned it.
She was
yada,
eating it
yada,
up.
yada. And Lisette's like, yeah.
She loves it. She was like prom queen.
And then you see
Yeah.
Jeff Fry in his interview, and he's like, my bed's next to Lisette, and I just know that if I keep, buttering her up, blah, blah, blah.
That's terrible. It's so
I
true.
can't
though.
stand Jeff Fry. But
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling that you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not hating on him because this is a game. It's a competition series.
Exactly.
You need to do what you got to do, but there's a way to go about it. He's not really tactful. It's kind of
That's a good word.
I don't even know if I
not
use
very
it
tactful.
properly, but
No, he's not very
SAT.
tactful. And then you also see the mentality of the past where Sam kind of throws out, we just need to do at this point what we need to do to survive.
Yes,
And that's brilliant. I feel like when you're kind of in the Stone Age in the past,
quote unquote.
that's what you had to do back then because you weren't given a lot
You
of
had no other
materials.
choice.
Exactly.
So I do feel like because they are forced to do that, they might persevere. You know what I mean? Because the future might kind of get soft. They might feel like they got everything they need
too
going.
relaxed.
Too relaxed. Yes, I like that. Chilling out. But yeah, I think your team's gonna hold up on that end of it. But we'll see.
We'll see. I also think Lauren made a good point because JR has this huge decision to make. She's like, if JR has to put up a guy and he puts up Wyatt, and let's say Wyatt lost,
That's it.
Then
No more guys.
JR is the only guy left on
Yeah.
their team.
I think that was a
So I
smart.
think Lauren's also thinking, and she's using her brain.
Yeah, which is good because and this is something that I was looking before in my notes. I said, "Where's the dumb girl? Like, why?" I know that sounds so ignorant, but all these girls are pretty intelligent. The casting process, they must have slipped on.
Well, you'd think with 3 blondes, they would have at least one that kind of fit the stereotype.
All pretty smart. I got to give it to them. But like she said, if they did put Wyatt up, that might be the situation where they lose him, and he is a strong competitor. They need him. But then the other aspect is you put Wyatt up. Anyone that goes against Wyatt, I think, is going to lose because that guy knows his stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. After watching his casting tape, I would be afraid to go up against Wyatt.
Yeah, he like
and what he's
eats live
capable of.
fish, kills bears,
Climbs, ropes for fun.
I don't
Who
know.
knows? So after they discuss their strategies and hear each other out,
Yep.
that's when Luke adds another dynamic to this whole show. And that's when Luke says, or brings out Lisette and JR to the
Yes,
present.
this is the best.
And they're given their clues, either on a tablet.
Tablet versus this old piece of paper scroll, aka Roman 12 BC.
Keeping with the past and futures
yes,
theme
yes.
here. I think that's hilarious.
That was
The
great.
clue was what goes up must come down. They bring it back to their teams, and they kind of start to think a little bit. Now they have a little bit more information. What is the duel? What's going to be the challenge?
Yeah.
So what do you think at this point?
Well, the best was when they brought the clue back, and Lisette's like, "What must go up must come down," and Frank's like, "Well, I think we need another." Like his accent, we need another clue. I don't understand.
It's like,
And I was
Frank,
like,
what are you saying?
Dude, you don't understand a lot, man. Like, there's a reason.
His
accent and his
is-
accent's
yeah.
very strong, and I have a New York accent, but I can't even understand him sometimes. So, but yeah, I think
Nothing but love for him, though.
yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy from what we've
But
seen.
you know, you got to joke around.
This is where we also see a little bit more of Jesse and his methodical way of thinking as far as, all right, well, here's the challenge. He also was kind of aware that maybe they're going to come after me because
I think
I'm the
he
one that-
knew offhand. I think that he had. I think that's why he went about, which we'll discuss later, the way he went about things. Because I think he feels that he's a weaker player. I think that he, he's got Frank on that team. He's got Jesse. These are some strong individuals. So I think that he knew this. So that's why he went the route he did in the first episode. I think that's why he's conspiring so early on in the game.
Well, yeah, especially when you see them come out to the present again. Here's another layer. Here's another dynamic. The teams get to kind of meet in the present and
Yes.
discuss and kind of mingle and get some.
Their leaders can
Get
speak
some
to the opposite team.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they can go over and they can speak. And then Lisette's whole thing at that point was like, I'm going to get in these girls' heads. I'm going to see what they're thinking, what they do for a living, what they're, it was smart on her part. JR, on the other hand, kind of was just like, hey, nice to meet you guys. It's really great. Really enjoying this experience. And that's when Jeff Fry.
Jeff Fry.
What does Jeff Fry do, James?
Jeff Fry begins spilling the beans of everything going on the future side to JR, trying to win JR over. And I get it. I think that strategy, you kind of have to play both sides of these worlds here because Jeffrey at that point didn't know that JR was going to be the decider.
No.
Why not? Again, using his ass-kissing strategy, kissing JR's ass and saying, blah, 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 here's everything you need to know.
Yeah.
That way, JR's trusting him a little bit more.
Lisette trusts him. JR trusts him. No one
So
thinks
Jeffrey's
he's a bad
kind of
guy.
in that good. He's
Right
he's
now.
a good balance right now.
But as we know from past experience on other reality shows, sometimes that comes around to bite you in the butt.
yeah, well, he's an ass kisser, and eventually it's.
Wait,
gonna
I can
bite
say yeah? Bite you in the ass.
I keep saying it, but you.
It's like James can do that.
So this is where we see the first real alliance of this show form.
Yes.
JR, Jeff Fry, and they kind of go back to their separate worlds to discuss the gossip, the 411, the juice
Yep.
from both sides of the world here. And I really feel like Lisette did a really good job at getting to know the past.
She did. She put her time in. She literally, if you notice throughout the episode, she literally spent time with each person on that team.
Yeah.
JR just kind of came over and did a whole group interview.
Yeah.
So she gave a little more thought into the process.
And I think ultimately it worked to her favor because now she has all this information that may help her
Yes.
if she was going to be the decider or at some point later on in the game.
Yeah.
So kudos to Lisette for some good gameplay.
She's my
there.
favorite. I told you. She's my favorite from the start.
So JR reveals to his team, the past, that there's some cracks on the future side, which I think is brilliant. And now that I feel like is bringing the past closer together and they're like, let's figure out how to crack the future together.
Yes.
And so they kind of start throwing some names out there. Who should we put up for the duel? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think's going on the past side here?
I think that they definitely made a wise decision in trying to kind of crack that team. I think that's the only way. I think that the future team is stronger. So I think that's the only option that they have. I mean, we don't know what these competitions are going to entail either. So they could be physical.
Yeah.
They could not be. But
Another thing that pissed me off,
here we go.
going back to Jeff Fry, I mean, he makes me so upset. He's the kind of guy you love to hate. So sorry, Jeff Fry, if you,
You
end up
don't love
watching
him
this.
though. You just hate him.
Well, having been on the show, I feel like you
Yeah.
and I can kind of relate to these people because
To an
editing
ex-
has
there's
a lot
always-
to do with it and whatever. What pissed me off is because
we go.
Angela is one of my favorites. Jeffrey's like, Angela's a straight up bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, wait, how did you even gather that when you didn't even talk to her and you're just assuming it because it's a judgment you're making through the glass while she's peeing?
Well, that's what he literally said. He was like, every morning I get up and she gives me this look while I'm brushing my teeth. And I'm like, maybe she doesn't even like, why is it automatically you? Not everything's about you,
Not
Jeff
everyone's
Rye.
a morning person and she doesn't have anything to
She
block her
might
while
have
she's
ate
peeing
something
in a hole.
last night, Mexican. She might have gas. Like, really, give her a break. But yeah, he's not one, and that's the other thing too. And I think that's how I was on my show, and how you probably were when you're in a group like that and you're discussing things. That one person that all of a sudden gets negative, you watch them because they obviously have a different agenda, and they're not really bringing positivity into your group, which is not going to help the situation.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
That's a really good point.
I hope that they notice that. I think Frank noticed that. If you notice when he was speaking, he kind of looked at him like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
Well,
So I think it's just funny that Jeff Rye, he thinks this of Angela, but it seems like the rest of America and the audience.
I'm a fan.
She's one of the most well-liked people
Yeah,
on the
she's
show
great.
right now. So
Got no problem with her.
Jeff Rye, get with the present
Uh-huh.
and know your facts. Okay.
I love it. Let's get him on this show.
So we go then find out that the past gets the news that Charles is no longer returning.
He has broken his tibia.
And I think for anyone who's been on a show, that's the worst way to go out. You don't want to
I'd
go out by an
rather
injury.
lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vote me out, take me out in a duel, but don't have an injury take me out.
No, that's the worst. And then, they bring him back. And how great was that moment between Wyatt and Charles? That was great. That's where I was like, all right, Wyatt's a good guy.
I loved the connection that they had. I wish
Yeah.
we would have seen that a little bit more in the editing for the story side of things. Their bond.
I mean, it was tough. It was early on. They were only
True.
in the house a couple days, but yeah.
But they kind of got to show a little bit, Lauren was getting emotional. I think it really goes to show that the past is playing the game, but they're also understanding relationships.
Yes.
And like what Charles even said is that being on the past, you don't have those gadgets or gizmos to distract you. You just have to talk with each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like in our society today that there's a good parallel here. We're so wrapped up in social media and our iPhones and our whatever, like this is glued to me 24/7 and I'm on Twitter all the time, that it's true.
It's true. You lose that social connection. You lose that bond. And I think your team is going to do well with that aspect of it, because I already see on my side, on the future side, that they're starting to crumble a little bit because of this Jeff Rye guy. So
Jeff Rye.
Jeff Rye.
He's toxic.
Toxic.
Seriously, sounds like a southern accent, dude. Yo, Jeff Rye!
Jeff Rye! Get
Yo,
in here!
Jeff Rye! Get on that pass side, yo, Jeff Rye!
Between that and Frank's accent, I'm just like,
Too much to handle. And then JR's accent.
Jeremy's an accent.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, he does.
He doesn't really like enunciate.
Well, I think that's why we have subtitles. If you guys notice, we have subtitles. I think it's for JR. Like,
Well,
I think
it was just our TV.
Because Frank's like, I don't know if what's
Yeah,
going on.
our TV had the subtitles
Oh,
going
was it
on.
just
I
our
think it was
TV?
just our TV.
It was
Thank
just our
God
TV.
we had
It was just us.
subtitles. I love JR though. All jokes
love it.
aside, JR is great. So great heartfelt moment between the past. Charles, we're sorry to see you go out that way. Hopefully we can get him in for an interview soon.
Charles is great. He was
would love to
one
know
of my favorites from the beginning. So I was kind of upset that he had to go, because I think he would have did well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
You don't want to mess with a broken
I think he
tibia,
would
though.
have been a fan favorite too.
Yeah, he would have.
So,
But
poor
moving
guy.
on, Charles is gone.
Moving on.
That's
Charles
it.
is
It's
gone.
the way it goes. Competition
The
series.
past is down one, so now it's
Yes.
6-5.
2 guys, 3 girls.
So the Duel of Destiny,
Yes.
the last
Bring it,
layer
James. Bring it.
to this
I know you're
cake.
excited for this part.
The Duel of Destiny. This is the live portion, very Hunger Games-esque.
Yes.
Luke, you're kicking ass when it comes to live hosting. You're awesome.
Yes.
This is when the pot starts stirring a little bit, because we have Jesse versus Wyatt. Frustrations come out. Do you think Wyatt overreacted?
Well, before we even get to that, I just want to ask you a question on this. When you saw the Duel of Destiny, how great is that?
Oh my God, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
I wanted to just dive right
Jump
into
right
this
up
pool
in there
and
and
play.
It was great. And that water's supposed to be like 40 degrees.
In 40-degree temperature outside,
Yeah.
so it's freezing.
I was really excited about that. I mean, I don't know if I'm just a competition nerd, but I really was like ready to jump into that.
Do you watch the MTV challenges?
Of course.
It kind of made me think of the Gauntlet or the
Yeah, I
duels
was
they
ready for
do.
CT to just punch someone out. That's terrible. But
Oh my.
yes, Wyatt versus Jesse. I'm a fan of both of them. I think Wyatt is a stand-up guy. I think Jesse gets a bad rep.
They're both passionate about
They
how
are
they
passionate,
feel.
you know, and I think the whole Charles situation just kind of, you know, it kind of just messed up everything, and I really didn't have to go that way. But Wyatt needs to learn when to speak and when not to speak, and I don't think that was the proper time, as Luke Tibble told us.
Yeah, and you know, I think Wyatt has he has a right to be frustrated because A, that's their buddy out there, and he went out a really crappy way. Then Jesse also explained himself pretty well. He's like, I had no intention of hurting anyone. And I've met Jesse. That's not his character or in his nature. So I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was a low blow.
No, I don't.
At taking out a teammate. I just think it was an impulsive fight or flight, like we said.
It's a game, and things happen. It's, you know, they're not sitting there playing chess. You know,
sitting on the chest with those tasers.
Yeah, well, taser. There's a taser involved. I mean, I know when my dad used to hit me with a taser, that shit hurts.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, you know, Jesse did the right thing. I think that Wyatt should have backed off.
And then Wyatt kept poking.
He kept going.
And that's when Rachel jumped in and kind of laid it down. This whole thing is just ridiculous.
And then, did you see Rachel? She was like, and if I have to go into this, I got this. I will kill it.
Yeah.
I was like,
she's going to
Rachel,
kill. Rachel's going to kill it.
Rachel, who you fooling? She's the gamer, right? Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
But moving on.
Luke announces who the decider is.
Yes.
Pulls, you know, JR and Lisette down. Does this big reveal by 90% of the votes.
90%. That means.
And I like to think that maybe 10%
You had a
of that
piece
was
of
my opinion.
I text James all the time, like, wait, so what do you, I'm voting right now. I can't speak. I'm like, well, we know who's voting for this.
I definitely voted JR. I utilized all my 10 votes. And JR
JR's
won.
good. I think it was a smart decision.
I agree. And I think he's just a very likable person.
Yes.
So it's great that he's starting off this show strong with social media because it has the potential to just stay at 100%.
Yeah.
And
So JR's
excited.
picked. So we got JR. Now he has to choose who is going to duel. So his choices are
everyone on the future side except for Lisette. So you have Danielle to choose from. You have Jesse. You have Frank. You have Jeffrey.
And he chooses Miss Redhead
And Rachel. And it's funny because he's like, whatever it takes to make the other team weaker. I don't know if I necessarily would have picked. I think you're making that team weaker by numbers, sure. Like, you know, if
But you want to
someone.
take off a strong person.
I agree.
So maybe it would have been a smarter decision on JR's part to take maybe Frank.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Jesse.
But I think, Frank is a little scary, though, for that first challenge, I think.
Yeah, he would have sank.
Yeah. He like can't even get over the rope.
That would have been a great thing to watch. But so now Rachel, he chooses Rachel from my team, and from your team,
he chose Angela.
Why would he choose
From left
Angela?
field. I did not even predict that.
Yeah, your face was priceless.
I was like,
yeah, you looked like one of those people who don't get the Academy Award when they zoom in. Yeah, no, Rachel, and I really felt like I thought he was going to choose Wyatt.
oh yeah, because that would have been a hands down Wyatt's gonna win.
And then Rachel would be gone no matter what. You would have won.
And then his like what he said, he's like, you know, Rachel dominated, you know, Angela in the worldly challenge. That I want Angela to get a chance to redeem herself. Okay, if Rachel's already proven herself to be a tough competitor, why would you put up the person she's already beat?
Yeah.
Not to me the best mindset, but
it
luckily it paid off.
I really didn't think it was going to.
No, because going at it, you think that Rachel would actually kick
But
Angela's
apparently Rachel is one of the slowest people in the world. So it actually served your team a benefit. I know it's cold, don't get me wrong. I feel bad. It was 40, 30 degrees.
All our opinions
she wasn't
aside,
even moving.
No. She just needs to stick to gaming.
Yeah, like,
you know, that's her niche. Obviously, this like physical challenge gaming is just not for her.
That's terrible, but it's true. But yeah, she run laps on Rachel. So what are you gonna do?
Angela dominated. I'm proud of her because she's an early favorite for me. I love her positivity, and again, if she keeps at it, that's gonna take her far away in this competition. But all opinions and jokes aside, Rachel, we feel for ya.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about Mikey.
I was a fan.
He won summer camp, so he's never been eliminated on national television. I got voted out on my show, so Rachel.
Well, that's because I pulled a Jeff Fry early in the game. So maybe that's why I kind of have a little heart for Jeff Fry, because I know it's a game and you got to play it, and I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that bad of a guy, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Steven's like, thumbs down.
But yeah, Rachel's gone.
So hopefully we can get
Deuces.
Rachel to call in. I've kind of been in talks with NBC Publicity. It'd be so awesome to have Rachel call in because I would love to hear what it's really like to live
Yes, I want to know.
in the future.
In the future.
If she's in the future, what's it like?
I need to know. So we need to get her to
know.
call in because I'm curious to see. And I'm curious to see what she thought of the other teammates.
Yeah.
She didn't really get to spend that much time, but I want to see what her opinion was on them.
What did you overall of this first Duel of Destiny? What did you think of the challenge? I mean, I love for the live factor, you know, to do as many laps as you can in 3 minutes. It was perfect.
Yes, I thought it was great. I thought the atmosphere, you know, how cold it was, and you know, it was perfect. I really did enjoy it. I don't know what else to say. It was like, it really brought me back to like 1992.
I wanted to dive in and play.
Yeah.
Maybe they can like make a challenge for you and I
Let's
to play.
do it. I will kill you.
And then we can do a Duel of Destiny.
You want to do this?
Maybe our viewers at home can create some sort of challenge to do here in the studio.
What can we do in the
Our own
studio?
Duel of Destiny. I don't know. Let
I really don't know if you want to lose again on national television. I don't know if that's something that... I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Well,
We're going to have to do something.
I agree.
I take that competition.
If Opposite Worlds is social media
A.K.A.
engaging Lauren,
Yeah.
then we should be engaged with our social media as well.
Yes. Tweet us. Let us know. What is your Twitter handle, James?
James Wallington.
And mine was Mikey Benzaia.
Yeah.
Tweet us. Let us know what we can do up in here that would prove that we are worthy of hosting this show.
Yeah. Let's talk about predictions really quick.
Predictions. You know,
Ooh,
that was,
Now,
I like
your
that.
AfterBuzz TV.
That's a great thing. I felt that.
All right. Going into next week, Luke announced, to us at least, who the favorite player is and who the least favorite player is. We have JR, strong first place.
Good guy.
And then, thank God Jeff Fry is in last. And I'd like to think that my tweets had a hand in that.
Jeff Fry is good. But here's the thing. This is the aspect that I love. JR will be rewarded.
Yeah.
Jeff Fry will be punished.
Yeah, and we
Get
have a
to
hand
choose
in
the
that.
punishment.
So, who do you think next week is going to win the Worldly Challenge? Do you think it's going to be the future or do you think it's going to be the past?
I'm going to go with the future, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that we're going to take it.
I mean, I'm going to have to say the past because I feel
Why
like
is that?
they've had a taste of victory now with the Duel of Destiny, and it's going to give them that little extra edge.
I
in
think
the
that was
Worldly
just
Challenge.
a rare occurrence. No, I really do. Rachel, let's be real. Rachel was weak. I don't foresee any of my other players besides Jeff Rye, and I think he's going to be able to talk his way out of it, being weak.
Okay.
Unless, but we have to think too that these aren't always all going to be physical challenges.
That's
so
true. And it might be a numbers thing where having more teammates is going to be
There-
better. Who knows?
There could be like a spelling bee or a pronunciation, and then my team would just go down. There could be, you know, we don't know where this is going,
We don't.
but we do know where this is going here, and we
Yes.
can have our own competitions up in here. So
We
let us
will.
know.
So comment below, rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. And make sure to share this link when it's posted on YouTube tomorrow because we
Yes.
want as many viewers as we can. We want to get interaction with us as well. Mikey, where can they find you on all social media platforms?
If you just look up my name, Mikey, M-I-K-E-Y, Benzaia, B-E-N-Z-A-I-A, and put an @ before that, that would be my Twitter and my Facebook. Add me. I don't have any friends, so I would like to.
He does have friends. I'm at least one. So make sure you check out my social media platform as well. I'm at James Wallington on Twitter, at Mr. James Wally on Instagram, and James Wallington on Facebook. And make sure to check out the SyFy.com website or their Facebook page to get involved.
Yes.
Vote.
Do it. That's the great aspect of the show.
Give the special surprise to JR and give a good punishment to Jeffrey. I've
Let
already
me know.
checked him out. They're good.
I want to know what you guys would give for a punishment and a reward. I want to know. Let me know.
Good night, everyone.
Tweet me.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.